All right, before we get into the news, I want to start with confronting the obvious, two different ways. First, you may have heard Senator Mitch McConnell had another lapse today. I don't know how many of you have dealt with, aging loved ones, but you know what's going on here, okay? And it's hard. It's hard on a lot of levels. He was taking questions at a press event at the Capitol in D.C. Here's what happened.
What are your thoughts on running for re-election in 2026?
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
That's
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026?
Grace, okay? There, but for the grace. And you may think, I thought I already saw this. You did. This isn't the first time it's happened. Now, many are using it to grandstand in office, right? Talking about, we need people to age out of office and we need change. Here's what I don't like about it, okay? First of all, not all people age at the same rate. My father at 75 years of age was way sharper than I am right now. Maybe a low bar, but the point stands. And besides, these people who are calling for change know that it's pointless. They're just trying to play it to advantage, right? To make it seem like they're somehow better because they're not as old as McConnell, when almost none of them in his own party who are complaining right now could ever carry his jock in terms of being a lawmaker. And they know it would take a constitutional amendment for term limits or an upper age limit. And that's not happening, not when all they're about is division. Look, I think it would be great to have term limits, upper age limit, okay, but a constitutional convention. That's great, but you need 2/3 of the state legislatures to call for it. We could rethink many things. I think we need it, but it's not going to happen, so I'm not going to waste your time with it, right? Too many of the people who are complaining right now are in the business of exploiting problems for party advantage, not solving them. Marjorie Taylor Greene posting about McConnell, severe aging health issues and or mental health incompetence in our nation's leaders must be addressed. Is she talking about herself? We're talking about demonstrations of mental competence or incompetence. You better be careful. It's not just about how your age is. It's about your stage of intellectual development and how you carry out your duties. She certainly has a big lead on McConnell in terms of saying things that make her unfit for office, right? So don't point him out as somehow something that you're better than, all right? Now, what bums me out about it is when you look at the senator, that's all you're hearing out of his party about him. That's not what the leadership should be entertaining. They should tell those people. Of course, they have the right to say it, but what they're saying isn't right. So quiet them down. That's what leadership is for. All right? And do what you can to help the senator and help his family figure out the best thing for him. Because these same men and women who are quiet about McConnell, they can't stop talking about how Biden's not competent because of age and stage. Senator Feinstein, right? These same people, but now they're quiet. And what does that tell us? Ethics are situational, which is to say they don't have any ethics. It's just about the situation, which is always advantage. Now, I personally wish the senator the best. I've had disagreements with him over the years, and that's fine. But it has to be rooted in decency. I hope his family and he figure out what's best for him. His party certainly isn't looking at his best interests. His health should come first. Clearly, he's not okay. Now, point two, as we move into the big storm in Florida, now crushing the Carolinas, another obvious point. Did you see Governor DeSantis in his handling of the storm? Here's one of his excerpts from the press conference.
Don't mess with this storm. Don't do anything that's going to put yourself in jeopardy. And there'll be a lot of help coming on the back end of this storm, and we're ready to go. As soon as it's safe to do so, you're going to see all these different assets deployed.
He's positive. He's poised. He was talking consistently before, during, and now after about how communities would come together. They would be there. There'd be resources. All right? Totally different than this DeSantis.
We seek normalcy, not philosophical lunacy. We will not allow reality, facts, and truth to become optional. We will never surrender to the woke mob. Florida is where woke goes to die.
Now, what's the difference? In the first one, he's doing what's right for the many versus playing the game of division to impress the extreme few. Now, it shows you two things. One, shows Governor DeSantis knows the difference, right? And the country may give a chance to the first DeSantis, but the second, and it also tells you that when it comes to politics, all too often people default to ugly, and they know better. Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.